you doing this evening? Well, we had a little bit of snowfall and I've been out working outside and getting the snow cleared up, and now I'm ready to make supper. And you know, I've heard from so many students that I know who seem to live off craft dinner or eat out, and I would imagine that if you are given the option of eating craft dinner or eating out, I think I'd be taking eating out every time. I know there is this incredible number of people who just love craft dinner. KD, so you've got a little nickname, KD, wow! But I grew up in England, and KD is not such a big deal over there as it is over here. So anyways, what I'd like to do is show you something that I do every couple of weeks, or week depending on how much I've been eating. I will make myself a big pot of brown rice. Okay, and brown rice freezes very well. You can put it in the freezer, it'll last, and I'm going to show you a way to keep it fresh in the fridge. And what I use this for is that this is my main side dish instead of potatoes. Okay, so it's ready to go in the fridge, because I find that most things that you want to cook, you know, sausages, a steak, a fish, whatever it is, some vegetables, you're probably looking at 10 or 15 minutes cooking for most of those items. Okay, so if you've got your side ready to go, you've got the rice there, and in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you're sitting down to a really nutritious meal. And brown rice, of course, is a complex carbohydrate, and so it's very satisfying, it's very filling, and I know a lot of you just quake at the thought of cooking brown rice, because most people's brown rice that I've tasted is like stodge. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to throw out everything that you thought you knew about rice cooking, and I'm going to show you the method that was shown to me by my Chinese girlfriend. This was, wow, many Chinese New Years ago, probably about 26 years ago. I dated a Chinese woman for a couple of years, and you know, she showed me how to cook rice the right way. So it is light, fluffy, all the time, every single time. Okay, so I'm going to show you now. This is the ingredients and the items that you're going to need to make brown and wild rice in a big pot, a week's worth. Okay, so here we go. Sea salt. This is 1 pound of wild rice. You're not going to be using anywhere near 1 pound of wild rice. This is probably around about $10 worth of wild rice. It's organic, and it's quite expensive, I think. Okay, now this here is Lundberg's organic short grain brown rice. Okay, this is really important. It doesn't necessarily have to be Lundberg's, although I do find that Lundberg's is probably the primo. But actually, as I look at the label here, this is certified organic short grain brown rice, and that is all you need to know. Okay, short grain brown rice. You will need a cup measure. Do yourself a favor. Go get your teaspoon measures and your cup measures. Make sure they're stainless steel, so that they're non-permeable. And this is the handiest little item you're going to have in your kitchen. Now this is a little trick that was shown to me by a Brazilian woman who I went, actually she was in the next site with her husband and kids when I went camping with my kids, and she would put bay leaves into things. So all of my grains, everything that I have, everything I want to keep fresh, I put bay leaves in. Bay leaves are a natural antibiotic, antifungal. Okay, so if you put 2 or 3 leaves into your pot of rice whilst it's cooking, all that juice permeates into the rice. And I'll tell you, I've had pots of this rice stored in the fridge, just not in the freezer, in the lower part of the fridge, for up to 2 weeks without going off. So this is an incredible food preservative, a natural food preservative, and it's also adds a nice little flavour to the rice. Okay, so let's get going here. Okay, now I like to use these Visions cookware purely and simply because you can actually see what is going on inside the pot. Okay, so I'm going to put it there. 1 cup of wild rice, and we're going to add to that 3 cups. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have 1 cup of wild rice, 3 cups of short grain organic brown rice. Okay, so this is probably the most important part of the cooking of rice, and that is rinsing. Okay, so you're going to put enough water in there to cover the rice, and you will start to notice immediately that some of the rice floats to the surface. Now I'm actually just pinching, I'm using my hand like this, okay, and I'm pinching the rice together. And this, my friends, is why most people's rice, brown rice especially, it turns into that suey, gooey, icky, sticky mass of rice. Okay, now I don't know if you can see here, but the water is kind of cloudy now. Okay, so you just carefully pour that off. You'll find that 1 or 2 pieces of rice float off. This is good. The floating rice is the rice that wasn't good anyways. Okay, so we're going to repeat this, and I can't stress enough how important it is to make sure that all the rice is clean. And the reason we do this is because this cloudiness in the water, this is gluten. Okay, this is stuff that is between the husk and the seed, and of course you don't get this with white rice because it's polished. It actually goes through some kind of tumbling polishing process to remove all of this gluten. All kinds of baking, pastries, this kind of stuff, because it tends to it texturizes, it holds things together very well. So of course when you put it into the rice, when you cook it without washing it like this, it is of course going to make it stick all together. So I do this 3 times with the tap, and you know, each time that you do it, there's still a little cloudiness to that water. Still a little cloudiness to that water. So 3 times with tap water. I don't know about your tap water, but in my village here, they chlorinate the water, of course. This does go through a charcoal filter and a sedimentary filter, because really the water is just drawn from the lake, and so the lake water, I don't know, the Fenland Falls sewage treatment plant is just up the lake here, and so you know, in that sewerage now, I mean, we're starting to realize that all of these very strong drugs that people are taking, you know, for medicines and so on and so forth, are coming through into the water. The cancer drugs, the radiation, you know, when you flush your toilet, boom, it's into the sewer system. So we're introducing all kinds of things into the water. So anyway, my last wash there is with water that I get from a friend's well. So this is, as they say, crystal clear, pure water. Okay, so you're going to put enough water in here now to cover the rice by about, what would I say that is, 2 or 3 centimeters. And I may yet add some more water to that after it's boiled down a little bit. So far, so good. I'm going to turn that the stove to high. And I'm adding a couple of bay leaves here. And here it is, the infamous pinch of salt. Okay, so there you go, that's a pinch of salt roughly. Sea salt. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of why we're doing this and what's going to happen next. Okay, so we're going to bring this to a high boil, and then I'm going to turn this down to about number 5, 5.5, which is about half heat. Okay, which will still keep this with the lid on. This will still keep it at a fast boil. And this is of course where you throw everything you thought you knew about cooking rice out of the window, because every recipe book that I have seen says slow cook, bring it to a boil and simmer for 15 minutes or something. Okay, well, you're not going to do that. You're going to bring it to a boil, and then it's going to be a high simmer if anything. Okay, and anyways, we'll come back when it's boiling and I'll show you how I deal with that and turn it down, and because I've got quite a little routine going on here. Okay, so we've got a full rolling boil here. I'm going to turn down to half and just allow some of that steam to escape so it doesn't boil over onto the hot plate. And then in about 15 minutes we'll come back, and of course now, this is another big thing for all you burgeoning cooks that would be. There is really only one rule to cooking, and that is don't leave the kitchen. So when I turn my camera off, I'm going to be sitting right over here in my office, which is adjoining the kitchen, so I can actually hear this rice bubbling away. Okay, see you in 15 minutes. So that's the kind of action that you want to see in your pot. We're almost there, but I wanted to let you know what a fast or a high simmer looks like. Okay, that's what your rice should be looking like right now. And as you can see, the lid is just off a little tiny sliver, just to let a little bit of steam out. And I may add a little water to that yet. Okay, so I am going to add a little water. I think we can, this will expand a little bit more. So you just top her up like that. As simple as that. And I can actually see the little bubbles rising from the bottom. It's still fast boiling or high simmer, and that has maybe another 10 minutes to go yet. So I will be back in a second. Oh, I know what I was going to do. Voila! This is the only time during the cooking part of the rice that you will touch the rice. And I just really just stir it a little bit. I think that's very important. I don't mess with it. Let it cook, and when it's done, you will actually, I hate to say burning because, people have different ideas of what the smell of burning is. But when you smell something and you go, what, hell, is that burning? That's when you got to get it. That's when you got to get it. And then you just turn off the stove and you let that sit and stand. Anyway, we'll come back in a minute when we're getting close to that point. Okay, so here we are. I've got that slight smell of burning. Off goes the stove. I put the lid firmly back on and remove from the heat. And you're going to let that sit for 15-20 minutes. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how to make special fried rice with hot Italian sausage. Wow, sounds good. Can't wait. Okay, see you then.